Welcome to Lesson 4, the basics of working with Photoshop. In this lesson, you'll learn how to combine images while gaining an understanding of image resolution and file size. So what I'm going to show you in this video is just kind of creating this image. It's not necessarily pretty, not necessarily a great composite, but it's going to teach you some things that you need to know about image size. And so I'm going to start out by just closing this done file and opening up, choosing File, Browse, and Bridge, the original image that we're going to create this from, which is PS0401. Now, a couple things that I want you to notice. First of all, the file size is listed down here, and you'll see a slash and the same file size. That's because this particular image does not have layers in it yet. You'll see that right side expand as you add additional layers. Now, I'm going to go ahead, hold down my Option key and click. And you'll notice that by doing this, I can see that this particular image is 885 pixels wide, or 12.292 inches, and a height of 542. It's also showing me that this is an RGB and a resolution of 72 pixels. So I've got an idea of approximately how big this image is, and I want to create a composite, and I want to add another image to this. So I choose File, Browse, and Bridge, and I open up the monster rooster. And if I want to check the file size of this image, I can either go down to the bottom and check the size, or I can go up to Image, Image Size. And in here, I can see that I've got the width and the height, and also the resolution. Now, just because this is 72 and my barn image was 72 does not mean this is going to fit well. Notice the width is 705 pixels, which means that if I drag and drop this image or copy and paste it into the barn image, it will be huge on top of that barn. And this frequently happens with people when they're not quite sure why, and that's because they haven't verified the size before they combine images. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and change the size of this to 200 pixels. You'll notice that since the chain is here, that the height and the width are constrained, and then I can click OK. And now I'm going to do a Select All, Control or Command A, copy, Control or Command C, or of course you can use the Edit menu to copy as well. Now I'm switching back to the PS401 image, but before I do, I'm going to close this file. No, I'm not going to save it. Make sure I'm on this image, and then Control or Command V. And now I've got my image here. Now we'll deal with the white background in a short bit. I want to integrate another image into here. So I'm choosing File, Browse, and Bridge, open up the cow image, and this time I'm going to take my Move tool and click and drag the entire cow up to the tab. Now you notice I'm clicking and holding on the tab and then dragging it back down. This is how you can move one entire image from one file to another. And now you can see Monster Cow. The reason I brought the cow in like this is so that I can show you how to transform directly on an image as well. I'm on the Move tool, and this is important, and I'm pressing Control or Command T. I get these handlebars. If I hold my Shift key down and grab one of those corner handles, I can scale this visually. Once I get to an area or a size I like, I can press the Return key. So now I've got this really contrived image with a couple images with white backgrounds. Now let me just tell you, I'm going to use a quick technique to get rid of the white background. And it will work well for web imagery because you're not really seeing the details on the screen as much as you would with print. If you are creating a lot of print imagery, you might want to use one of the more advanced selection techniques that are covered throughout this book. But right now we're going to take advantage of a down and dirty, easy erasing technique. So you'll notice I'm going to my Tools panel and I'm choosing the eraser and then selecting the Magic Eraser Hidden Tool. And if I just simply click on the background of the cow, it disappears. Now I have to activate my rooster as well, so I click on that layer. And in fact, I'm going to name this layer by double-clicking on Layer 1 and typing in Rooster. And now I'll click on that background as well. Now, mentioning the fact that I renamed this layer, it's a really good idea to keep your layers organized. I'm going up to Layer 2 and typing in cow as well. The reason is, as you use layers, you will begin adding more and more of them into your composition. All right, so we have 2 additional layers in our image. I want to show you one more thing. I'm going to zoom in by holding down my Control and spacebar into the cow image. And I'm using the spacebar to push this around. But what I want you to notice is that there are some areas that are not so great on the edge. You see almost like a little kind of dirty border on this. You'll see it maybe even more on the rooster. So you can see this border. Basically, this is caused by the anti-aliasing. And just to explain anti-aliasing a little bit, let me take my brush tool. I'll go ahead and change the color to a white. And I'm going to paint across the background image. And notice that it doesn't just end on a sharp edge, that it kind of fades into the rest of the image. That's a good thing to make a photograph look realistic. Now I'm going to undo this and take my pencil tool, make the brush size a little bit bigger by pressing the right bracket and paint. And now that is not anti-aliased, and that looks dramatically different. I'm going to undo this. And you'll see that because this rooster was on a white background, it's hanging on to a little bit of those white pixels. Now, in order to fix this, I'm going to select the rooster layer, go up to Layer, choose Matting, Defringe, leave it at 1, and click OK. And notice that that matting, or that little bit of an edge, is now gone. So hopefully you found some new little things about putting images together. And if you want to read more, pick up the book and read Lesson 4.